good, the bad, and the odd. They do go on.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd with your host, Michael Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, this is one of our free picks. I can't remember if it was mine or yours now.
I think it was mine.
Yours, because I did Superman, didn't I? Yeah. So this was yours. Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
Yeah.
We were kicking around some ideas of what to watch, but this came on a telly, right?
Yeah, literally, it's just like in the recordings. There, it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you? Right? I know we've done it before, but it was I think 2014. So I think that's a more. And it was like June 2014. No, I think it was a bit earlier now. I think it's almost literally
it was
11
just
years.
after Harryhausen died, I think it was.
Yeah. We also, when we did it, we did all three Sinbad films in one episode. So this is giving it its own free time, as it were.
Yeah.
We're going to do something a bit different. We're going to try this out and see how it works. Usually we go through the story and talk about each scene or the major scenes as we go through the story, but what I'm going to do is try something different. What I'm going to do is recap the plot quickly, pick up if you've got any comments or I've got any comments about anything I actually say, though, pick them up there, that's fine, and then we'll just go back and talk about the bits we liked about this whole thing, right? So main star is Cohen Matthews and Cohen Matthews and Sinbad. The whitest Sinbad there's ever been. Having said that, they're all kind of white in the Sinbads, aren't they?
Most white bread American like Sinbad you've ever seen. Doesn't even try with an accent.
And the bad guys played by Torin Thatcher, a British actor, right? Interesting. Okay, so the story is Sinbad. Basically, they land on an island called Colossa, where they encounter this magician called Sakura, who's fleeing from a cyclops, a big old cyclops. They manage to get away, but Sakura drops his magic lamp that I think he's just stolen from the cyclops, I think. And the cyclops picks it up, but they manage to get away. He implores Sinbad to go back and get it. Sinbad's having none of it.
Yeah, because the cyclops just hucked a rock at them.
Yeah, well, there's that, but also he's got a princess that is doing a sort of mission of peace, but also love. He's transporting the Princess Parisa. Basically, he is set to marry, and their coming marriage is going to cement peace between her father's realm and Sinbad's homeland, which is Baghdad, right?
Yeah,
the city of Baghdad.
It's Baghdad and Chandra, the two nations.
So. So Sakura's trying to persuade them to go back, and no one is really interested. And what he does is, at one point, he turns this the companion serving lady of the princess. He promises that she's going to be the most exciting thing at the pageant, and basically using magic combines it with a snake, and she becomes a dancing snake lady, and that doesn't quite work out. However, the two fathers sense the magician's up to no good. However, the princess gets shrunk by Sakura, but they don't know it. Gets shrunk. Some evil magic. No one kind of sees through this, so I think Sinbad has his suspicions. And he tells her the only way that they can cure her is using the egg of the rock, the giant bird, the rock, which is found on the island.
Conveniently, it only lives on Colossa.
Yeah, so there's they decide they're going to embark on a voyage back. There's some shenanigans on the crossing back where basically there's a mutiny, right? We won't get into that in the finer print, as it were.
Yeah, but they make it back to Colossa.
They make it back to Colossa, but the sailors with them. Also they take a giant crossbow to be able to kill the cyclops.
The cyclopses,
yeah, it's really cool. So they go inland looking for a piece of this egg, and Sakura suggests, there might be some hatched eggs up there, but some of the men are hungry and break open an egg and get a chick out, and then others are thirsty and want to drink water that isn't good for you, and all this.
This is peppered with some other stuff, but and once they've killed it, there's a brief scuffle where the Rock's parents arrive, Mother arrives
Yeah.
and attacks them. In the scuffle, Sakura gets away
Gets
with the
away.
lamp, which they previously stole from the Cyclops again. And
But
then
Sakura shows he's a wrong one by not letting them out. They're trapped by the Cyclops in a cage, and Sakura won't let them out.
just
He
kind of sneaks past.
Past. We also find that, so basically Sakura's a wrong one. They manage to get out. Sakura's palace is guarded by a dragon on a chain.
Yeah.
I'm not very. I mean, even when it's on, the chain is loosened, it's not very long.
No, it's not got
anyway,
far.
He's got a dragon protecting. So Sinbad gets in. Shenanigans ensue. Sinbad gets out again.
With the now grown princess. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With a lot of scuffling of Harryhausen-esque things.
Yeah, and then from that, the Cyclops is involved. The dragon starts fighting the Cyclops.
Yeah.
And then the dragon chases Sinbad, the princess, and so on. But the dragon gets the crossbow in its chest. Falls on Sakura, that finishes him. Everyone lives up here after. And then we get the rousing music at the end, right? That's kind of the deal. Right, so let's go back over this. There's some great Harryhausen moments in this, isn't there? I mean, it's good. I like the whole vibe of this. It looks good. The music's really good. The script is functional, but totally works with the material. My favourite was really Torian Thatcher as Sakura. I think he's really good. What do you think?
Yeah, he's a really good
Ming, right? He would have made a good Ming. It's that vibe. He's bald, he's evil and all that.
Yeah, he's quite menacing, and he's constantly playing the characters. But it's in such a situation where it's like, I'm evil. You got to do this. There's no way around it. Let's go do the thing. So
there's a lot. There's bits where he outthinks people, but usually some sort of bravery overcome. It's not intelligence, but bravery and sort of physical action overcome whatever he tries to throw. Quite like the dancing snake lady. Oh no. Well, let's start with the Cyclops. Cyclops is pretty cool. The whole Cyclops.
Cyclops kind of set the image of Cyclopses for the rest of culture, really.
Yeah, and you said there's something tragic about this one. You were telling me because we watched this together, right? You were telling me something tragic about it. Do you want to share?
Yeah, so there's an earlier film that Harryhausen made a monster for called what was it?
50 million miles from Earth?
50 million miles from Earth, which had a monster called the Emir in it, which is a really cool design. Like it's this weird sort of like lizard man that grows as it breathes air, because the air, it's from Venus. The air on Earth is hyper-nutritional in comparison. So it just grows constantly.
It gets bigger and bigger and bigger throughout the film. It's good, good film.
To make the Cyclops, he had to scavenge the armature from the Emir. So he had to essentially strip it down and then rebuild the Cyclops around it, which is a shame.
It's a shame. Quite like the Cyclops. Think about Harryhausen. I've heard a quote about like stop motion versus CGI, and it totally is true for Harryhausen stuff and earlier animators, like when they worked on King Kongs, for example, stuff like that. Which is, it looks fake, but it feels real, whereas CGI looks real but feels fake.
Yeah.
Not so much now. CGI is really
they haven't improved
but early CGI was really, it looked good if you just took snapshots. But when it actually started moving, it was just wrong, and your brain would reject it as being reality. Harryhausen, you don't have that much of a problem with. Maybe because we all grew up with it as children, and we just accept it, right? It could be that.
That's just what a Cyclops would move like. Yeah, that's just what a dragon would move like.
Yeah, and sound like, right? And sound like. But the fight with the Cyclops is pretty cool. Sinbad, man, they managed to blind it, don't we?
Yeah, they essentially do a brief recreation of Odysseus. Like, he blinds the Cyclops, they lure it to a cliff. And they trick it into falling off. But a second Cyclops does show up later.
So they managed to get away. And Sakura's like really salty about not having his lamp. So
the entire time. So
he all he wants is his lamp. We all know he wants to get back for his lamp, and all of this, what shenanigans is getting back to his lamp. And even the fathers of the bride and the Sultan of Baghdad know he's a wrong 'un.
Yeah. Like even when he does like a whole act about getting out the city because following the snake lady incident, he puts a prediction that's basically like, yeah, there'll be no peace because the princess will like suffer some evil spirit nonsense.
Yeah,
and they're like, yeah, get the hell out of the city. We don't want you here.
yeah.
If you're not out of the city by the end of tomorrow, we'll kill you.
Basically. Your head will be on a stick or something.
Yeah. So on his way out, he curses the princess and starts to leave. And then Sinbad chases him down and is like, hey, like he starts to explain the princess's situation. And Sakura's like, oh, I saw it in the spirits last night. What was going on? So I know what's happening. And then the second the kings hear about this, they're like, well, isn't it bloody convenient that the thing you want us to do is on the island that you want to go to, and you're willing to pay a lot?
They don't seem to have any choice, though. And the thing is, the whole thing is tied up to the peace of their nations too. So, because
apparently, the king of Chandra is like basically flat out like, if this doesn't get sorted straight away, I am invading.
Yes. There's plenty of that. The second bit of Harryhausen we see is the dancing snake lady. I always like this one. They go to mix it with obviously the animated version and close-ups of the real woman's face done up green. You know, she's kind of an early version of the Green Dancing Girl in Star Trek in some respects. In terms of makeup and she's got several arms and they're all like rubbery.
Yeah, they all. It's you can kind of see he hadn't. Well, it's
less skeleton, right?
Yeah, he hadn't put like a proper armature joint. It was just like a sort of flowing bit of wire or something.
Yeah, they're proper rubbery, these things.
Yeah.
But in the end, she's a towel wraps around her own neck and she starts strangling herself, and Sakura has to step in.
Yeah.
But I always like that bit. I have to say, I really like the music throughout this film as well. It's kind of really cool. And it's quite memorable, that all that stuff.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of Conan, which I imagine had some like allusion to this.
There is elements of Conan. I have watched Conan. Oh no, we covered it, right?
We covered it recently.
There's definitely musical elements in that sound a lot like this.
Oh yeah.
The whole when they invade the palette, with the giant snake, that bit slower version of this kind of music, right?
Well, the Riders of Doom just kind of sounds like the main theme of this film. So,
so they agreed to sponsor a ship to go to the island so we can get an eggshell of the rock that's needed for the potion to restore the princess. Sakura also provides the plans for the giant crossbow, so he's not entirely terrible. But they're all.
I'm half convinced that if they just sort of did help him, there would have been no problem. He would have just gone back to his castle in his mountain and done nothing further. That would have been sort of a solved problem. But no, it's kind of Sinbad and it's his own fault. So,
Sinbad's having trouble getting a full crew because it's a dangerous mission, and they recruit it from a load of sort of convicts, which immediately mutiny as soon as they can.
As soon as they're out of sight of Baghdad, they rebel, and they're immediately like, okay, let's take it south into the trading lanes so we can be pirates. And Sakura just kind of goes, evil spirits that way. And almost
them, but you also I wonder, did Sakura somehow bring these on as well or guide the ship that way? I don't know.
Most likely.
It's not.
He's like, it was a very convenient thing when he's talking to Sinbad and Sinbad's assistant. He has a first mate that's kind of hangs around. But so he basically him, Sinbad, and Sakura sitting in a room while the mutineers set up the ship with themselves. But they're just all sort of lying about on the deck going the evil spirits.
With their hands over there. Sinbad and Sakura stuff what is it, wax and cotton into their ears. And
again,
they also wrap up the princess. And they wrap up the princess so it's muffled. He's kept the shrunken princess secret from the men, so these pirates don't know about it, which is probably a good thing. Frankly. basically they give up, and Sinbad just kind of forgives them, and they carry on.
Yeah, I think it's more a case of like we've not really got an option. We can't go back, so yeah, let's just carry on. They get to the island, and there's a whole like set of shenanigans that the crew get up to separately from Sinbad. Like there's the whole bit with the wine river, where like Sakura leads some passages like this river is poison. If it so much as touches your lips, you'll drop dead instantly. And then Sakura wanders off, and the crew is like, "Nah, I'm really thirsty."
Sure.
It's like, and then they get like this one
someone
guy
into drinking it, right?
Yes, it's like I'm not. No, what about this guy? He's not scared of anything. It's like, yeah, I'm not scared of anything. It's like, so you'll drink it, right? Yeah. It's like, so he drinks it. It's like, yeah, that's choice wine. They just get completely plastered.
Yes.
And like, again, separately from them, the group that Sinbad's leading, find the Cyclops' horde and like start dancing about and mucking about in there while they know there's a Cyclops about.
They also break open the giant egg, and they really should have done that. And kill the bird, kill the chick within because they're angry. Sinbad's really annoyed when he sees them like nicking all the treasure. Right? He really is. There's also a bit where they got the lamp, and the princess goes inside and meets the genie, who's played by a little boy called Richard. The actor's Richard A. Very good. Oh, that was a good turn, that kid. Now, I always wondered, did this colour everyone's perceptions of what a genie's like? Because, I mean, in the earlier film, FIFA Baghdad, the genie's kind of scary, right? He's a big giant thing who's not benign in any way, only when forced to be. And I believe in the mythology of that part of the world, genies are bloody demons. Basically,
yeah, they're tricksters. That's what the genies. Wish, sort of thing.
So, but we're in the West, we've seen
very much
friendly genies and Robin Williams genies and things like that. So we think genies are all right, and pantomimes and stuff like that. But it's kind of interesting how
if you read the Aladdin story, the genie is actively trying to get him killed.
Yeah. So. And genies and other stuff. I had to laugh because there's like a genie in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Who is this old, essentially a trickster.
Yeah. So they have to keep
make their own mistakes, right?
Yeah, they have to keep negotiating the wishes with him. So it's like, okay, how would you mess with us if we wish for this? Like, okay, so I do this. Like, oh, but if we wished it a different way, they'd be able to mess with us this way.
Yeah. It's a bit like I wish I was a little shorter and your leg falls off or something. It was that kind of trick.
Yeah.
So anyway, where were we? Right. So she talks to the genie, who tells her how he can be free. He gives her a poem about to rise you must fall in a fiery pit and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And he also tells her the code to, the poem to let him out of the lamp.
Yes.
At that time. From the land beyond, from the world past hope and fear. I bid you, genie, now
up here. While you're rubbing the lamp, right?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, she's reciting back to Sinbad to teach him it. Wouldn't that call up genie? But no, you have to be rubbing the lamp.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So anyway, they get all this treasure. But then the Cyclops finds them getting into its treasure and gets annoyed and puts them all in cages and puts one on a spit.
Yeah. He doesn't skewer him, he just kind of ties him to it.
A bit of Han Solo and the Ewoks kind of deal. I've
no doubt this has kind of inspired that a bit. But and here's where we also get the drunk squad sort of rocking up and hucking spears. And we get, I think it's the first sort of iteration of them doing Harryhausen, I suppose, doing the effects of someone chucking something at a stop motion character.
Yeah.
Like in the same screen.
The whole stop motion stuff. Obviously, it looks like they're rear projecting to me. I'm not quite sure how they combine the film elements, but it's very good. It's just the one behind the stop motion is a tiny bit fuzzy. Right? So you can kind of However, I mean, seeing this as a kid, did not see that. Just I was happy. So the Cyclops is enraged, puts him in a cage. Sakura goes and gets the lamp, walks past the cage, and Sinbad's saying, "Let me out," and Sakura just walks off, leaves him.
Yeah, he grins and wanders off. So he has to let the princess out and show the men.
She manages to just about release them. Right, she's not very strong, but she does manage to.
Yeah, well, she's like 3 inches tall.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's tiny. Oh no, this is where they blind.
This is where they blind the Cyclops.
I always get confused with the first, but the first one is just standing on the edge of the shush.
They roll away.
Right? Yeah. So they manage to get out. So they get, they've got a bit of egg, right?
They've got
the
shells, yeah.
And then I can't remember how this plays out, but Sinbad effectively goes. Does he catch Sakura, and then they have to go to his?
No. So what happens is the rock attacks, and in the scuffle, Sakura gets the lamp and runs off. And if I remember correctly, he takes the princess as well.
He
takes the princess, but doesn't get the lamp.
The lamp.
Okay.
Sinbad has the lamp.
Sinbad keeps the lamp
by a giant rock. By the rock.
And dropped in his.
Luckily, dropped in his nest, so not affected.
So
which means he's got the lamp, and he summons the
genie to ask where the princess is. So the genie leads him to Sakura's castle. And that's where there's a whole incident with the skeleton, where it has a sword fight with him. Kind of a precursor to Jason and the Argonauts.
It's very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Because Cohen Matthews was having to sword fight thin air, or at the very best.
I have to say that fight choreography was good, considering they were combining two completely different elements. That was really. They must have done take after take after take to get that as good as it was. Because I couldn't see any flaws in it. It looked really well matched to me.
Yeah.
So very impressive, that bit.
Yeah.
But they managed to get the skeleton up some stairs and push it off, and it just falls. Smashes to pieces.
Sakura kind of hides from that point. Sinbad throws a sword at him, and it catches his sleeve, so he just runs. That's when they chuck the genie into some lava, because they find some burning fire, and I think that was mentioned.
That's right. Hold on. They have to get past the dragon to get into Sakura's.
Yeah, they figure out the
genie
wheel.
shows him as a winch to winch it in, and then Sinbad goes and unwinches it at the other end. I don't know why you do that, frankly. I guess
to stop Cyclops getting in.
But you'd think they'd just avoid it anyway. After a few times.
I mean, you'd think that, but that almost exactly happens at the end. The Cyclops fully comes into the cave, so they have to let the dragon really loose.
So that's when Sinbad puts the sword to Sakura and sort of says, make the potion to recover the princess, which he does. But then Sakura tricks him by creating a skeleton, right? Yeah. So there's all that business.
The whole fight.
There's a scuffle. They manage to get away from Sakura with the lamp, which totally enrages him. And they actually use the lamp to cross a space, don't they? They say, help us get across. And I shall try, oh princess, I shall try. There's some great, this is the script simple, but we're remembering things like what you have to say when you rub the lamp, and what the genie says and stuff like that. And it's at that point the princess says, I think this might be the cure for the genie. And she sort of says, there's something, it has to go into a fire to rise. And Sinbad says, well, what if we're wrong?
What if we need him?
What if we need him? And then he goes, a promise is a promise, though. And then they're worried, well, what happens if it kills the genie? And it doesn't. Well, but they take the chance. They throw. It's very reminiscent of the ring in Lord of the Rings going into the fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. And again, it's good effect. You see lava. You see a lamp go into it and sink underneath, and it looks authentic. So that's kind of cool. So they've let the genie escape, get away, which enrages Sakura. He's proper mad. So they're running away. He basically lets the dragon loose, and as power to control the dragon. He actually orders it, chase them.
The Cyclops shows up first, and Sinbad and the princess basically break the mechanism so that the dragon gets cut loose to fight the Cyclops. And we get our big Harryhausen monster fight, because there's always got to be a Harryhausen monster fight. Even in films where there's only one monster, there's got to be a monster fight because he's going to fight an elephant or something like that.
Something like that. Two things fighting. It all harks back to King Kong. King Kong fighting the T-Rex, or the Plesius, or the pterodactyls. It's all it's all of that. And the dragon wins in the end. And
that's where Torrin Thatcher from then on kind of only has the line, "Go Taro, go!"
All right, kill them. All this, and he's running ahead of the dragon, and the dragon comes out, but they've got the crossbow ready, haven't they?
Yeah, so they just stick it immediately
in the chest, right in the chest of the dragon. The dragon's kind of...
The dragon collapses onto Sakura, and then...
Now, there is a bit of fire breathing from the dragon early on, but we don't see any of that later on, do we?
I think, because according to Wikipedia, the effect for that was they got a flamethrower and shot it upwards. I don't think they wanted to try that again.
No, they did it once, that'll do me. But when they kill the dragon, it eventually... in its death throes, falls on top of Sakura, so he's a bit flat after that.
It's kind of weirdly sad with the dragon dying. Like, no one looks happy that this has happened.
Yeah, no one wants to kill a dragon by mistake, do you? Well, not by mistake, but they had to, because they were fighting the dragon, but what else? So they then they go back to the ship, and it turns out Bran is the cabin boy, but his last bit of magic was he transports all of the treasure of the Cyclops onto the ship. So Sinbad's got a ridiculous amount of treasure, right? Which they then and he says it's the wedding gift for Sinbad and Parisa. So, and then we get the ship looked really good. I assume it was models, but it looked great. Looked really good. And then we get the booming music score at the end. Really, really cool. I just thoroughly enjoyed this film. This is a good, fun adventure, right? There's no fat on it, really. It just gets on with business. The talking's a bit, COD.
Oh yeah,
this is how we think Arabs talk. There's all that, and they're going on about Allah.
It's a lot of white people praising Allah for a lot of white people with American accents who are supposed to be Arabs. So
yes, a very enjoyable film though, and a nice piece of music. The music stands up on its own. The main score, at least. It's a real swashbuckler. You forget sometimes. You think maybe there wasn't that much swashbuckler, but there was. This was all of the Sinbad films have got that, right?
There's even a bit where they just kind of while they're trying to escape, they're just like, okay, we need to do some Errol Flynning. The genie literally summons a rope for them to swing on. So
yes, I mean that's kind of Star Wars picked that up, didn't they? I have to say, there's another film where Cohen Matthews is the hero and Torrin Thatcher's the villain called Jack the Giant Killer that I do want us to cover. Again. Now, that wasn't Harryhausen, but it was stop motion. There were stop motion elements in there. But that's set in Cornwall with Jack the Giant Killer, the traditional story of Jack the Giant Killer, where Torrin Thatcher plays a sorcerer called Pendragon, who, if I remember rightly, turns into a dragon himself right at the end. A bit like Sleeping Beauty, right? So we'll cover that sometime. Maybe. I just totally enjoyed this film. I didn't see it was
it's so good.
Colourful, fun. I actually went to see this at the cinema in the 70s, thinking it was a new film because I was a kid. And I didn't know there was a film. Seven Voyages. Saw it at the cinema. Saw it at the cinema. It looked really good. Really enjoyed it. Didn't know it was from the 50s. Just didn't know. I just thought, it looks a bit old-fashioned in places, but didn't care. So I do remember sitting in a big cinema with my mates. I think I went with my mates. So we just went to the cinema and watched Seven Voyages of Sinbad. Awesome, right? Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, really fun one.
Yeah.
I haven't got much else to say, really.
The only
how
other
about you?
thing I can really think of is like a couple of years ago when the sort of AI was starting to become a thing. Someone used like motion smoothing on a lot of the stop motion bits of this, and everyone pretty much the universal reaction was, "Fuck off! Don't do that. Leave this
Yeah,
alone.
leave
This
it
is not the
alone.
place for this." And I just
Yeah,
love the unity of everyone just going, "Stop
yeah,
fucking with this film." So,
yeah, yeah. That's good.
yeah,
Like I say, it looks fake, but it feels real. So
yeah,
just leave it alone. Leave it. Just
yeah,
if you fiddle with it, it's just going to feel fake as well as look fake. So don't do that. I really enjoy the trilogy of Harryhausen Sinbad movies. Actually,
yeah.
I think this might be my favourite, but I really like Golden Voyage too. For many reasons. Well, Tom Baker as the bad guy is awesome.
Yes,
Awesome
I
choice.
think Golden Voyage is my favorite of the three.
Yeah, but I do like Eye of the Tiger as well. I think that's got some really good elements as
Yeah,
well. And it's interesting we get a different Sinbad each time as well, different actor playing Sinbad each time. But it doesn't matter. There's obviously other Sinbad stuff. There's an earlier one called Captain Sinbad from the 40s, I think. No, I don't think I've ever seen. There's the animated one, was it?
the animated one, Legend of the Seven Seas, I think it's called.
And I think there's been one more recently, but I couldn't tell you about it. Yeah, it's a good. I mean, the Harryhausen are the pinnacle of Sinbad movies, in my opinion. But yeah, really, really good. Let's rate it. Well, how would you rate this?
I'd rate this an easy 8 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give
just
it
on pure enjoyment.
I'll give it 4 out of 5. It's very enjoyable. It's not world changing. It's just exciting. It's well done. I like all of the elements really. I thought the genie was good. You know, a Shrunken Princess, she was good. I don't think I've seen that actress in anything else. Chloe Matthews, I've only seen in a few things. I've got to be honest. Jack the Giant Killer, this and another, like a thriller from Hammer called something like Maniac or something like that. It's weird. It's a weird film, that one. But Kerwin Matthews is a good, like, swashbuckly kind of lead, isn't he? So it works well. Torin Thatcher, I thought was really good. I want to try and catch him in some other stuff because I think he might be good in all sorts. I think he's been in a lot of drama, you know, a lot of costume dramas and stuff like that. So you can sort of see him in Shakespearean bad guy mode, can't you? Or you know, Robin Hood. He'd make a great Sheriff of Nottingham, say, right? That kind of thing. So solid.
In a lot of pirate films.
Yeah, I could definitely see that too.
Yeah,
that's totally obvious. Yeah. We kind of enjoyed this one. I just realised we didn't do our comfy chair.
Do you want to do that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
We usually do a comfy chair, and we have in the past forgotten it, right? We have forgotten it, and we talked about it just before we start recording, and it was my fault, completely just led into Sinbad.
Yeah,
let's do the comfy. Yeah, we'll just do it the other way around. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sinbad, big recommend for us, right?
Yes, highly recommend that.
Okay, comfy chair time.
Okay.
So I've got 4. Have you?
I've got 4,
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll start if that's all right. So my first one is an odd one you'll be familiar with. I know you'll be familiar with, and I can't remember if we even covered it. I'm not sure. Puff and Stuff, the movie.
Oh
Puff
God, yeah. I remember Puff and Stuff.
Yeah, I've watched the entire series, 17 episodes, right? Over a course of a couple of months, just the odd one here and there. They're all fun. I think they're those things that are just not good for your mental health, right? Because they just take your brain out of gear and just enjoy. It's kind of like the Muppets or something, right? It's kind of
well, it's almost literally like the Muppets. It's just an island of singing puppet people. So
yeah, but and then I thought, I'll finish with the film because the film is like its own thing. Because basically, it's how we see him get to the island. It's almost the origin story, right? Whereas in the TV series, it's part of the intro music and stuff like that.
It's really strange because I swear at the very least the version that you had when I was a kid, like had footage from the film in the intro.
I think it probably did.
Yeah, so it threw me off when I found out like the film was made after the show. So.
Yeah, Maybe they just reused it for the film. I don't really know. It looks good though. The film stock's really good. Really like this one. It expands the universe somewhat. There's a lot of witches in the movie, and particularly Mama Cass is in it as Witch Hazel. She's really good. It's got some great songs. There's some really good songs in this. It's colourful. It's light. It's silly. One thing that's always a bit jarring is one of the witches has a. They all have the little familiars like a stupid spider or a bat, but one of the witches has basically a rat that's dressed a bit like a Nazi.
Well, it's not
with a German accent.
It's
not got a swastika, but it's swastika.
It's wearing black leather and has got a style helm on.
Yeah, he's basically wearing an SS outfit. Yeah, it definitely is an SS outfit. So that's kind of a bit weird. But I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a really good, fun film. Jack Wilde's really good, and it's just charming. But it's weird, right? It's that late 60s, early 70s weird. But I find it quite delightful. Now I'm trying to think of films similar from that era. Willy Wonka, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. It feels like a complete acid dream. Yeah.
But yeah, I really like this, and I have to say, I accidentally stumbled across something that just made me laugh my head off. On YouTube, I found a guest appearance in a TV special from the 70s called The Paul-In. Paul-In was a comedian from the 70s, right? American comedian. Paul-In Halloween special, right? And the whole plot is about he gets kidnapped by a couple of witches. Those witches are Witchy Poo.
Okay.
And get this.
Yeah.
The Wicked Witch of the West, played by Margaret Hamilton. She came back out of Thailand to do this. So those two are in the same thing together. Because apparently Margaret Hamilton really loved Witchy Poo. She thought she was a great character. And they appeared. But the best bit of all is there's a bit where it just cuts to the two witches reading books, right? And Margaret Hamilton is just chuckling at hers, and it's Rosemary's Baby. She's reading Rosemary's Baby. Then it cuts to Witchy Poo, who's laughing her head off at this book, and it's The Exorcist.
That's an excellent gag.
It is an excellent gag. I'll send you. I cut it as a steal. I'm gonna send it to you. I might even put it on the top of this just to make the point. But what a great visual gag that was. Witchy Poo. Yeah. I mean, it reminded me of Beetlejuice. I've seen it 37 times.
It keeps getting funnier.
Yeah. I might even try and find the YouTube and send you a clip and get you to the right second so you don't have to watch it. Because the rest of it's awful. It's like old celebrities singing disco songs and stuff like that. No, actually, it is entertaining. It entertained me very much, actually. I enjoyed it. Anyway, I've really gone off onto a tangent there. Back to you.
Okay, sort of following on a theme of weird things to watch. So me and my friends have actually been sort of watching through Twilight again, because a bunch of them haven't seen it, and I find them incredibly funny to watch, just because... If you didn't know the actors, like the rest of the actors, like films, you'd think they were all atrocious actors. Like everyone acts terribly in these films. No one can convincingly do anything. Yeah, but there's also the weird undercurrent. But there's also the weird undercurrent of like within the actual context of the setting. Any part of the sort of backstory of the characters would be infinitely more interesting than the exact setting of the films.
Yeah,
like
they're weirdly dull and laughably bad.
Except they sometimes introduce stuff that's very fun.
Yeah, dull isn't the right one. No, I don't mean that. I'm taking it out. They're not dull. Yeah, they're like they are what the fuck telly. That's what they are.
It's like you watch it, and it's a case of like, why are the vampires crystal people? Like, why do they sparkle? That's like the good baseline. But like, okay,
why do they like baseball? Things like that.
Yeah, the baseball bit is fun. Like that's like characters doing casual stuff with superpowers is always fun for me.
Yeah.
But then there's like weird bits that sound so much more fun. Like, for example, in Eclipse, the one we watched, there's a whole bit where they introduce one of the backstories of the like teen vampires. It's like, oh yeah, she was like a socialite in the like 30s or 40s, and she basically got beat to death in an alleyway by the man she was intending to marry, and she was turned into a vampire out of mercy, and she essentially went Kill Bill on them. And it just gets the way they show this is having her like burst into a room in a wedding dress, holding a guy's head as she's going after the guy that like she was going to marry. And it's like, why aren't we watching that movie? Yeah. Like that seems so much more cool. And there's a bit of like another bit where they like as they're leaving these evil like Italian vampires, they just see a tour group going the other way.
Yeah,
like that's awesome. Why aren't we doing that bit? Like, please stop following these characters in this setting.
Yeah,
like,
it's like you're
anything other than this. It's like I see them in passing in the night. Like,
yeah, it's like better stuff's happening. It's like at the inverse. It's a bit like, was it Guildenstern and was it Rosencrantz and Guildenstern?
Yeah,
they're doing the thing behind Hamlet, but instead of Hamlet, it's you're right.
It's still fucking Twilight.
Everything you're not seeing is better than what we're watching. Is what you're saying.
Yeah,
and it's weird because like Robert Pattinson's a great actor.
Yeah,
Kirsten
Stewart's like, admittedly, I've not seen any of her recent films.
But I remember we covered Sathura and she was good in that.
Yeah,
she wasn't good in this. So it's weird. It must be the direction, right? Because I've seen her in later stuff. She was in a really good movie, and I can't remember what it's called, but it was like a horror thriller underwater thing. She was a bit, basically somewhat a bit like Alien, but stuck at the bottom of the sea. It's not quite like Alien. Basically, the underwater station is collapsing, but something weird's happening, and she's kind of stuck. She was really good in it. In it. I wish I could remember what it's called. I keep wanting to say Underwater, but I don't think it's called that. I can't remember what it's called. But it's so weird how bad these films are. I have to say, I say all this. I have watched Twilight maybe 4 times now. I do.
You've watched the first one a few times.
The first one, The rest of them not.
We used to get you on the sequels. They're so much worse. Like it keeps getting progressively like, why the fuck did you do that? That's insane. Like
that feels like something to watch between Christmas and New Year when you got absolutely nothing better to do.
Yeah,
just cram, do a day of this and just
I need to see if the Mystery Science Theatre guys, they're like Riff Tracks,
see
if they do all of them. Like,
I'm not sure if they might, but they've definitely done the first one because I have watched one of them, and it does make the film even better. What am I saying? Even better. It makes the film watchable. I'm acting like I think they're just awful, but actually, I'm not bored by them. That's the key. Well, I say that I'm not bored by the first one. I think the rest of them bored me. That's why I've gone back to them. So yeah.
Just bust out the Riff Tracks and go through them. Maybe that'll be our next big thing after Disney.
Yeah. Now, talking of Robert Pattinson.
Oh boy.
I watched one you talked about on the last Comfy Chair, actually, Mickey 17. I went to see Mickey 17. You were right. Good. I'm glad you recommended it. Really enjoyable. I feel like the film kind of falls apart at the end, and I can't think why, because the story's coherent and it makes sense and it does have a climax. But I don't know. I liked it better in the first and second acts. Let's put it that way. When there's more interaction between some of the elements. I don't want to spoil it at all. Mark Ruffalo did make me laugh because he was such a shitbag.
Yeah.
Tony Collette was amazing as well. But Pattinson...
Tony Collette, hang on a sec.
The wife of the politician.
Oh, yeah. She was insane.
Yeah, but Pattinson was great too, and there were a few other actors that were really. I just like there was quite a lot of interesting British character actors in this too, in the background, that you wouldn't really be aware of. But I thought, oh, there's Tim Keys, for example, Pigeon Man, right? A very small part, but things like that. I thought there was some solid stuff going on, and I liked the fact it wasn't. There were quirky characters throughout. Like one of the scientist ladies was quite kind of fun and kind of not exactly what you thought she was and things like that. But Mark Ruffalo was just such a shitheel. It was really funny because usually he plays likable characters, but he was such a scumbag.
Yeah.
It made it funny. And Toni Collette was his empowerer, wasn't she? Toni Collette just gets better and better, man. She's always been pretty good, but she just gets better and better. I enjoyed it a lot. You talked about it last time. I've talked about this. Recommend. Go see it.
Yeah, highly recommend.
See it when it's not in the cinemas anymore, but when it's available, go see it or get hold of it. Anyway, back to you.
Okay, so my next one is you, my friends. Again, what's the thing we're watching? Twin Peaks. We finished off season 1.
Whoa!
Yeah. So Cooper's now currently lying on the ground. And
I've got to ask: have you watched episode 1 of season 2 with him yet?
Not yet.
That is always hilarious if you've never seen it because it just grinds to a halt deliberately, doesn't it? For that first 15 minutes, it just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
People's reactions to that. So did you all enjoy it?
Yeah, they all enjoyed it. It's really fun. It's kind of good to see everything really come together at that last bit, and then just not fucking finish. So, that's the most David Lynch. Just like, okay, we're really bringing this to a head, and it's like, and then I cut the head off. But okay. So
none of these plot threads are going to resolve whatsoever. We're going to add more if we could do it. What was? The favourite bits are probably, I'm going to guess, the rock throwing and the seeing the inside of the Red Room.
The rock throwing was a highlight. Other big things was just, but everyone really loved the relationship between Andy and what's her name, Lucy. Like, they just love that.
That was good.
They finally confessed, and she's like, "I'm pregnant," and it's like, just the laughter. There's laughter. Oh my god!
Now Dick's not in it, is he? He's in the second.
No, he's not in it yet.
So that's my favourite.
There's a couple of times. Yeah, there's a couple of times when she's on the phone where she is talking to someone. She just mentioned Richard. So. He is present, but not in the actual show.
He's one of the great additions, new characters. There are several great new characters come into it in season 2, but Dick is great. Yeah, I'm glad you all enjoyed it and you're going to continue. It is a great show. It's my favourite TV show. What can I say? I think I've watched it 9 times now. Sorry, season 1 and 2 9 times. Season 3, I think I've watched 3 times. The Return I've watched 3 times. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Right, back to me. Rewatched the Star Trek movie from 2009. Really enjoyed this one. It was actually, I always think of it quite well, but it was even better than I remembered it. So that was a joy. I think this is a good fun one. It's not pure Star Trek. It's way more an action adventure. They're trying to do a bit of Star Wars with it, really, in some respects. But it's very solid. Chris Pine's great as Kirk. Zachary Quinto as Spock is really good. And one everyone's kind of forgets, Carl Urban as McCoy. He's really good too. There's some really good elements, and there's some really good in-jokes. And I just liked... So they're playing with some of the stuff around Star Trek in a good way, and it's kind of precipitates quite nicely how it all pans out that he gets to become a captain at such a young age. It's basically a battle promotion, isn't it? Basically, but I have to say,
because he basically outwits Spock.
Spock gets mad, and he has to basically enrage Spock as well, doesn't he? But I have to say, I'm very childish when it gets to the bit where Nero is interrogating Captain Pike.
Oh, I already know what you're going to say.
I always shout out, "Don't tell him, Pike." I can't help myself. I can't help myself. But yeah, really solid film. 4 out of 5 film for me. And I have been watching some older Star Trek recently, so it's nice for it to tie in. And in fact, I did watch an episode of the animated series today that ties into this movie, because there's a bit in this movie where we see a young Spock being bullied by other Vulcan children for being a half human. And there's a lot of that in an episode of the animated series called Yesteryear, which I actually happened to watch today. So it's I think I watched it because the film made me think of it, So yeah, it's cool. Really good film. Enjoyed this one. You like it, right?
Yeah, I really like the. A lot of people talk down on them. I do enjoy them.
Yeah. Anyway, back to you.
Okay, so my next one is actually an audiobook I've been listening to. I'm now a bit further into the Horus Heresy book series. I've talked about this a few times on the podcast, but now this is book number 5 called Fulgrim. This is about the sort of downfall of the titular character. Now, as I said, in 5 books in, the first 3 books were all detailing how Horus, who the whole event's named after, fell into and started worshipping demons and started cavorting with evil, that sort of thing. Fulgrim swan dives into being evil. This guy, it's almost comical how much he goes from being perfect warrior to be I torture people for fun, very quickly. It's so far in terms of listening time, it's the longest of the books, but not by much. And it's almost it's genuinely kind of funny how depraved he gets really.
Interesting swerve there.
Yeah,
is it by a different author?
Yeah, they're mostly by different authors.
Oh, are
but
they?
It's a case of they. So they different authors tend to follow different characters. But this is So as I say, this is the sort of first big one for Fulgrim, and the Emperor's Children is his sort of legion of soldiers, and they sort of end up. This is not spoilers, because this is a book that's been out for about 20 years, and 2, this is lore that's existed for about 50 now.
Okay.
They fall to the god of pleasure, so they go a bit over the top with the whole pleasure seeking thing, and it gets quite nasty. So, yeah.
I'm just looking at this book series. 64 books. 64 books
there's no way to get about it. There's no sort of gentle way to do it.
You got to commit. You're not going to read on a whim book 63 on its own, are you?
No. There's a whole chart to show how it works together in continuity. It's kind of comical. But yeah,
it's amazing how underground it is, really. Considering there's such a big amount of so many words.
I mean, you should be surprised about how much it's taken off since COVID. It's become a real, almost mainstream. Not really that mainstream, but almost there. So
yeah, interesting. Because usually you think of this much sort of extra material, you think of things like Star Trek or Doctor Who or Star Wars, right? But this is, this is his own thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. My last one is I finished Doctor Who Series 8 of the 2005 iteration, which is Peter Capaldi and Clara doing stuff. It's quite a good series. There's some quite good highlights. Quite enjoyed it. Some of it's a bit sappy, but there's some good ones. Standout ones. Let's try and Robin Hood one. There's a robot Sherwood. Right?
The one where he just flips off Robin Hood on primetime BBC. Yeah,
that's a fun one. I enjoyed that one. There was one I always liked, which is called Mummy on the Orient Express. Frank Skinner's in this one as the train driver, and there's a mummy that you can only see under certain. So I think when you're about to be killed by it or something, that's the kind of what people think anyway. That one's a really good one. But the highlight for me is
Missy.
And there's also the relationship between Missy. There's also the relationship between Clara and Danny Pink as well, which is quite sweet. I find it quite sweet running through. But the
Yeah.
Missy, the last 2 episodes, well, no, Missy's throughout in
Yeah.
places. We don't know who she is, but in the last 2 episodes, which is a 2-part story, it precipitates who Missy is. I don't think this is a spoiler, but I'm going to say it. So if you don't want to know, you might as well just stop the podcast. This is one
you
of
don't want to know for this like
fan-
10-year-old, very popular sort of.
Basically, Missy is the master, and I have to say, Michelle Gomez is possibly my favourite Doctor Who villain.
Yeah.
My favourite iteration of the Master, and the Master's got some great iterations, but I think she is off the hook on this. She is terrific. She's channeling a bit of the Joker, that's for sure. There's definitely elements of that. She's crazy, and she's very charismatic, and she does it really well, and she's a really good foil for Capaldi as well. And actually, that last story is quite affecting in the way it sort of precipitates stuff with Danny and Clara and the human race, really, is extremely it's a really, I really enjoyed it.
It does have one of my favorite bits in Doctor Who where they find Kate sort of lying on the ground after the whole sort of thing going on, and they're like, she fell out of a plane. There's no way she should have been able to survive this. And Clara just like listens. She's talking about her dad, and the Doctor looks over and there's a Cyberman just stood there, and he just goes, "Where else would you be at the Earth's darkest hour?" And the Cyberman just takes off. It's like, you don't need to say it. That's the brig. Like,
amazing bit of wrap up. I really loved it. I thought it was really good. I'd love for Michelle Gomez to come back in the more recent shows as the Missy again. I'd love that, but she said, "Nah, it's not." She'll do audio stuff, but she likes what she did. The little stuff she did was really great, and this isn't the last we see of her, so that's good, right? But I thought she was terrific in this. I really did. She's a great actress. She's very funny in a show called the one about school.
Bad Education, right?
Bad Education. She's excellent in that too. Comedy, though. But this is her finest hour, in my opinion. I think she's so good. She's ridiculously good. She almost unbalances the show. She's that good. But Capaldi's kind of up to it, Capaldi's on a heavyweight too, so it kind of is all right. I'm really liking this. I wish Capaldi had some slightly more serious stories, because I like the more grumpy Doctor. I like when he channels the first iteration of the Doctor. Grumpy, angry, right? And he is angry anyway, but so I enjoyed this. Now, I'm not a biggest fan of Clara, but I quite enjoyed this rewatch. But I think there's unfortunately with Matt Smith and Tennant, they just had some great companions that really overshadow all companions since, right? You just can't help but compare them. But there is.
I do like Bill, who's like an upcoming companion.
I do like Bill too. I do like Bill.
Unfortunately, this season of Doctor Who has 2 episodes that do a trope I hate of Doctor Who, which is no one should have done anything and the problem would have solved itself.
Yeah.
So, like, it happens multiple times.
Thing, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's like the moon one and the forest one. It's like,
I like the forest one. I did like it. But I agree. He didn't have to do anything. The moon one was a bit too goofy for my liking.
Yeah.
But I liked it. Having said that, I did like it. But this, so that was great. Really enjoyed this series. Yeah. Back to you.
Okay, so my last thing is actually a new game I've got. It's called Repo. It's basically another sort of loot extraction game where you got to find and just take things back to various hubs. Except this one is more you're playing as goofy little like tin can robots, or like sort of like little bin robots, and you kind of talk like Muppets, and everything is really kind of off kilter and askew. It's kind of hard to describe what makes it unique, but it's just playing it, and everything is instead of just being like you see the item, you pick up the item, it's in your inventory. Everything's physics based. You got to be careful moving it around, because as you knock an item in stuff, it loses value as you break it. But That's kind of the USP of this one. Is like everything's physics based.
I'm looking at some of the images from it, and it's REPO.
Yeah,
repo.
It is an acronym for something. I can't remember what it is.
The visuals look really good. The robots actually look really fun and something that you'd enjoy looking at.
Just to be clear, there is in-game voice chat, and the robots' mouths do move and open in response to your voice.
Okay, nice. Yeah. That's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
So,
but it's also a bit more of a
PC?
it's on PC. It's only on PC as far as I'm aware. But it's got a bit more of a roguelike element, as you can buy instead of just sort of buying more loot to make finding further scrap easier to get, you buy upgrades to your characters, more stamina, more health, strength, further jumping distance, that sort of thing. That's a lot more of a USP than just the physics thing.
Okay, that sounds all right. Is it like a storyboarding game? Does it go from A to Z and then that's it, or is it just?
No, it's literally just like here's an area, find all the loot in it, sort of thing. And you've got to meet a quota. So
okay, yeah. And a time limit is that, or just?
No, there's no time limit. You just do it as
what you like.
But careful, because there's monsters. They might be able to listen for you. They might smash up your loot just offhandedly. It's really quite frustrating when they do that. So
yeah. Okay, that sounds good. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's wind out there. We've done it a bit different tonight. We've presented the film a bit different, and we've done the comfy chair in reverse. And it's been kind of fun to sort of swap out a bit. Anyway, so bye from me.
Bye.